Hello everyone. If you'd like to explore more of Portugal after visiting Lisbon, we have 3 fantastic recommendations for you. The best part is that all 3 destinations are just about 1.5 hours away from Lisbon. Our first stop is Alcobaça, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This charming town offers a journey back in time with its magnificent monastery, the tragic love story of Pedro and Inês, its historic center, and its quiet streets. Our second recommendation is Batalha, home to one of Portugal's most impressive Gothic landmarks. This town is one of the country's most remarkable destinations, featuring its UNESCO-listed monastery, intricate stone carvings, and rich historical heritage. Our final stop is Fatima, one of the world's most important pilgrimage destinations. This city is a must-visit thanks to its impressive sanctuary, peaceful atmosphere, and spiritual significance that attracts millions of visitors every year. If you'd like to add cultural, historical, and spiritual experiences to your trip to Lisbon, these 3 destinations should definitely be on your list. Now let's explore these incredible places together. Right now we're in the city of Alcobaça, about 100 kilometers north of Lisbon. Standing before us, at the heart of the monastery complex, is the magnificent church of Santa Maria de Alcobaça. This massive Gothic church is the most impressive part of the monastery, and it's where we'll begin our visit. The moment you step inside, it feels as if you're entering infinity. The vast nave stretching out before you, the soaring columns, the towering arches, and the cold yet powerful beauty of the stone create a truly breathtaking atmosphere. Here, you'll find simplicity, height, and the raw strength of stone. One of the things that makes this church so remarkable is the tragic love story it holds within its walls, the story of Pedro and Inês. The greatest and most legendary love story in Portuguese history began in Coimbra. Inês arrived at the royal court as a lady-in-waiting to Pedro's wife. Before long, the two fell deeply in love, but their love faced a powerful obstacle: Pedro's father, King Afonso. Pedro was warned repeatedly by his father, yet he never hid his love or denied it. So their secret relationship continued, and together they had 3 children. In 1355, by order of King Afonso, Inês was arrested in front of her children and then executed. Pedro was not there, and Inês's death devastated him, but his grief did not last long. It soon turned into anger. Pedro took up arms against his father. Although his mother eventually helped reconcile them, nothing could ease the pain in Pedro's heart. When King Afonso died in 1357, Pedro became king. One of his first acts was to declare Inês the rightful queen of Portugal. A dead woman, but now a queen. Inês's body was exhumed and brought to Alcobaça Monastery. Pedro commissioned 2 magnificent tombs, one for himself and one for Inês. They were placed facing each other, so that when they rise on Judgment Day, the first thing they will see is one another. Legend has it that before Inês was laid to rest, Pedro ordered the Portuguese nobility to kiss the hand of their dead queen. Whether that really happened or is simply a legend, no one knows. But this story has gone down in history as the most tragic, passionate, and unforgettable love story in Portugal. Now we're heading to Jardim do Amor, or the Garden of Love, here in Alcobaça. This isn't just a beautiful garden or a peaceful walking path, it's also the place where one of the town's oldest and most touching legends comes to life. According to the legend, the name Alcobaça comes from 2 lovers named Alcoa and Bassa. Long ago they lived in this region and loved each other deeply. The young woman's name was Bassa, and the young man's name was Alcoa. Their love was said to be so powerful that it became part of the land itself, woven into the trees, the water, and the wind. The legend says that after they were separated, Bassa's tears became a stream, which eventually joined the stream formed by Alcoa's tears. Their tears flowed together, and their love became immortal, living on in the very name of this town, Alcobaça. Now we're heading back inside the monastery. This is much more than just a religious building. With its kitchen, cloisters, halls, and living quarters, it was once a vast monastic complex. The first area we enter is the main space for communal worship. The mystical atmosphere, soaring ceilings, and the doors and staircases opening into the space immediately catch our attention. Next, we arrive at one of the monastery's most peaceful and elegant corners. This is the fountain room in the cloister, where the monks wash their hands before heading to the refectory or continuing with their daily religious routine. Just beside the fountain is one of the monastery's most important everyday spaces, the kitchen. As soon as you step inside, the high ceilings, thick stone walls, and enormous chimneys stand out. This was a large working kitchen where meals were prepared for hundreds of monks. We then continue to the dormitory, known as the dormitorio. Like the rest of the monastery, it is simple yet striking. This is where the monks slept. Finally, inside the glass display cases, we see original wooden angel statues preserved from Alcobaça Monastery. These are more than decorative pieces, they are symbolic figures that helped create the monastery's spiritual atmosphere. The history of Alcobaça Monastery dates back to the 12th century. It was later granted to the Cistercian monks and gradually became far more than just a religious institution. Over the centuries, it grew into a powerful center of agriculture, education, production, and administration. That's why a visit to Alcobaça Monastery is more than a tour of a historic building. It's a journey through one of the places that helped shape the history of Portugal. We are now in Batalha. Located about 150 kilometers north of Lisbon, this small town is home to one of the most important monuments in Portuguese history. In a few moments, we will visit the Batalha Monastery together. Officially known as the Monastery of Santa Maria de Vitoria. It was commissioned by King João I of Portugal in 1385. The construction of the monastery took approximately 150 years to complete. Today, the building is considered one of the finest examples of Portuguese Gothic architecture. Its delicate stone carvings, soaring arches, and ornate windows continue to impress visitors from around the world. One of the most remarkable parts of the monastery is the section known as the unfinished chapels. This area was designed as a royal mausoleum for the Portuguese royal family, but due to various political and economic reasons, it was never completed. One of the finest examples of the Manueline architectural style. The doorway is distinguished by its exceptionally detailed stone carvings, maritime motifs, floral patterns, coats of arms, and religious symbols reflect Portugal's wealth and power during the Age of Discoveries. At the center of the chapels lies the tomb of King Duarte of Portugal and his wife, Eleanor of Aragon. King Duarte was the son of King João I and envisioned this area as the final resting place of the Portuguese monarchs. We are now walking towards the entrance of the church, which forms part of the monastery complex. In 1993, the Batalha Monastery was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is not only a religious monument, but also an important symbol of Portugal's history, artistic heritage, and struggle for independence. We are now standing at the entrance of the church. The portal before us is one of the notable examples of the Manueline style. As we step inside, the first thing we notice is the extraordinary height and spaciousness of the building. Reaching approximately 32 meters in height, the nave was considered one of the tallest church interiors in Portugal at the time it was built. The slender columns, pointed arches, and large stained glass windows, all characteristic of Gothic architecture, immediately capture our attention. The church is not only a place of worship but also home to chapels and tombs that preserve important traces of Portuguese history and Christian tradition. These chapels and tombs remind us that the Batalha Monastery is not only an architectural masterpiece but also an important center that preserves Portugal's religious, cultural, and historical memory. Now we are heading to Batalha Monastery's most special and historically significant section, the Founders' Chapel. In a moment we will enter this remarkable space, which is not only a burial site, but also a monument symbolizing the birth of the modern Portuguese state. As we step inside, our attention is immediately drawn to the center of the chapel. Here lies the joint tomb of King João, the first of Portugal, and his wife Philippa of Lancaster. This monument is considered one of the most impressive royal tombs of the European Middle Ages. Looking closely, you can see the king and queen depicted holding hands. This detail symbolizes not only their personal bond, but also the historic alliance between Portugal and England. The Founders' Chapel was built in the early 15th century and became one of Portugal's first royal pantheons. It was created to honor the House of Aviz, the dynasty that commissioned the Batalha Monastery and safeguarded Portugal's independence. Influenced by the English Gothic style of the period, the chapel is renowned for its elegant arches, star-shaped vaults, and harmonious architectural design. Looking around the chapel, we can also see the tombs of other important members of the royal family. Among them, the most notable is undoubtedly Prince Henry the Navigator. Although he never personally took part in the great voyages of discovery, he supported expeditions along the African coast, encouraged advances in cartography and navigation, and became one of the key figures behind Portugal's Age of Discoveries. As we moved out of Founders' Chapel, we come across the tomb of one of the monastery's most important architects, Matias Fernandes. He is best known for his work on the famous unfinished chapels of the Batalha Monastery. Matias Fernandes played a key role in the development of the uniquely Portuguese manuline style and was regarded as one of the most talented architects of his time, particularly for his extraordinary skill in stone carving. Now we are moving into one of the most elegant and impressive sections of the Batalha Monastery, the Royal Cloister. This area served as one of the central spaces of monastic life. For centuries, monks walked here, prayed, organized their daily activities, and spent time in silence and contemplation. We are now entering the chapter house, one of the most important sections of the Batalha Monastery. This was the place where the monks gathered to discuss daily matters, make decisions, and listen to readings of religious texts. One of the most remarkable features of this hall is its vaulted ceiling, built without any supporting column in the center. We are again in cloister. The first thing that catches our attention is the delicate stone columns surrounding the courtyard and the remarkably intricate decorations. Although construction of the cloister began in the late 14th century, many of the decorative elements we see today were added later and enriched, particularly under the influence of the manuline style. As a result, this is a place where we can admire both the simplicity of Gothic architecture and the elaborate, ornamental details of manuline art side by side. Now, as we walk through this impressive courtyard, let's continue discovering the intricate details carved into the stone and experience up close the unique atmosphere that has been preserved for more than 6 centuries. Now we're leaving the Batalha Monastery. Its exterior is just as impressive as its interior. Now we are exploring the sanctuary of Fatima, one of the most important religious sites in Portugal, visited by millions of people every year. This sacred place is known not only for its religious significance, but also for its impressive architecture and peaceful atmosphere. Our first stop in this vast religious complex is the statue of José Alves, which welcomes visitors at the entrance. The statue honors Monsignor José Alves Correia da Silva, who played a major role in the development of the sanctuary of Fatima. As we continue walking, we come across a striking bronze monument known as the Great Black Cross. With its modern design, this cross symbolizes the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Despite its simple appearance, it holds deep spiritual meaning for many visitors, and you'll often see people pausing here for a moment of prayer. Now we are heading toward the sanctuary's most modern building, the Basilica de Santissima Trindade, or the Basilica of the Holy Trinity. From the outside, it looks very different from the traditional cathedrals of Europe. Instead of tall towers and elaborate decorations, it features clean lines and a minimalist contemporary design. Opened in 2007, the basilica was built to accommodate the millions of pilgrims who gather here for major religious celebrations each year. With nearly 40,000 square meters of floor space and seating for more than 8,000 people, it is considered one of the largest Catholic churches in the world. Inside, you'll find a spacious, peaceful, and remarkably quiet interior. The white stone architecture creates a calming atmosphere, allowing visitors to focus on reflection rather than ornate decoration. Just imagining thousands of people from different countries praying here together is truly inspiring. As we leave the basilica, we notice another unique tradition of Fatima pilgrims walking on their knees. Some visitors complete this journey to give thanks for answered prayers, while others do it to pray for their loved ones. Although this practice is not required by the Catholic Church, it remains a voluntary expression of personal faith and devotion. This quiet yet powerful tradition is one of the most moving experiences that reflects the spiritual atmosphere of Fatima. Now we arrive at one of the most emotional places within the sanctuary. This is the candle lighting area, where thousands of visitors light candles and offer their prayers throughout the day. The sight of hundreds of burning candles is truly unforgettable. The gentle scent of melted wax, combined with the silent prayers of pilgrims, creates an atmosphere of deep peace and devotion. Next, we reach the vast open space at the heart of the sanctuary. This is the main outdoor celebration area. During the major pilgrimages on May 13th and October 13th, hundreds of thousands of people fill this square completely. Pilgrims from all over the world gather here to pray together, sing hymns, and take part in the famous candlelight processions held in the evening. Witnessing such a massive crowd praying together in complete silence is an unforgettable experience. Finally, we make our way to the oldest and most historic building in the sanctuary, the Basilica de Nossa Senhora do Rosário de Fátima. Construction of this elegant basilica began in 1928 and was completed in 1953, for many years. It served as the heart of the sanctuary of Fatima. With its graceful bell tower and white facade, it has become one of the sanctuary's most recognizable landmarks. The presence of both the historic Basilica of Our Lady of the Rosary and the modern Basilica of the Holy Trinity within the same sanctuary beautifully reflects the story of Fatima itself. On one side stands more than a century of history, and on the other, a modern structure built to welcome millions of pilgrims. Here, tradition and the present come together through a shared faith. As you explore the sanctuary of Fatima, it's not only the remarkable buildings that leave a lasting impression, but also the hope, prayers, and faith carried by people from every corner of the world. Perhaps that is what makes Fatima such a truly special place. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and support our journey. In the coming episodes, we will continue exploring fascinating cities and remarkable stories from around the world together. See you on the next journey.